Yo, we back at it again. I mean, playoffs are in it. It's deep going on right now. Got the Boston Celtics, Toronto Raptors. Celtics up 3-2 right now after Toronto was able to tie the series up. The defensive adjustments that were made for Nick Nurse, for Jason Tatum, and the Celtics work in Game 5, which is known as the winner of Game 5 goes to wins the series, I believe, like 80% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, the Celtics are up 3-2. I do not believe the Raptors can beat this team 2 times in a row. I didn't think any team could beat each other 2 times in a row, being that both coaches had the feels for each other's best lineups and able to make the adjustments offensively and defensively to put their team in a position to win. But
I mean, that's what happened, though. The Celtics beat them twice. The Raptors beat them twice.
Yeah, but this time, I think where the Raptors were able to be better defensively, which were the surprise traps on Tatum and the surprise traps on Brown. I don't know what they can do defensively that can add that to make it more tougher than what they currently did to get back into the series. I think they had to pull their best card out to get back into the series. I'm not necessarily comfortable or even confident at saying that the Toronto Raptors will be able to even extend this to a Game 7. Not to disrespect the NBA champions and not to disrespect the players on the team. They have been playing great basketball and have done better than a lot of us have thought they would. I just don't see them beating the Boston Celtics right now without the offensive power that they need. Now, they had someone of a Kawhi Leonard caliber, not saying they needed Kawhi. They could have had someone on a top 10 player, top 15 player. It doesn't have to be Kawhi Leonard. They need that scoring person that can give them 30 points or can get them a bucket when they need one or can get to the line when needed. And it can't be Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet who are having great postseasons, but they just can't do that. So,
right, thanks.
What do you feel about the Raptors series? Is there anything the Raptors can do to win this series, being that 3-2, or is it just a matter of time before the Celtics put these boys away?
Well, the series should have been over in 5, regardless. Wherever you look at it, it should have been over in 5. They won an extra game. Now the Celtics got to take advantage of that. Because I know that sounds crazy, but now the Celtics cannot allow these boys to go 7. I think I think their culture preached to that. Not allowing this series to go 7. You can't, because you see what happened already in one game. The Raptors know they can. All they got to do is keep the game close. You keep the game close, anything can happen in a Game 7. And in Game 7 situations, right now, we don't know who's going to win that. I mean, right now, you would have to say possibly the Raptors because of experience. Because the last few Game 7s we've seen from the Celtics, they haven't played as well.
Yeah.
But the thing that stands out to me the most, and the reason why I feel like the Celtics are a lot better team than the Raptors, you played this team 6 times. Within the last 3 out of 6 times you played them, you had them up by 30 3 times almost.
Mm-hmm.
That's just showing me right there who's better.
Right.
I don't care about who wins the game. If you have a team up 33 times in 6 games, almost, you're better than them.
Yeah, you're better.
You're better. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the fact. It's just offensively, Toronto has to play a lot better. You can't be scoring 9 points at the end of the first quarter and 2 minutes left in the first quarter. You got 9 points and 30. That's where they lost the game, man. Defensively, they're going to be there. Offensively, they got to find some ways to get easier baskets when they're not, scoring in transition.
And be getting easier.
Serge Ibaka is not playing this game, I think.
Right. Who's not playing?
Serge Ibaka, I think he's out.
That's the task for them. That was the task for what was going on into the offseason, that people had these question marks about them, was who's going to be able to put the ball in the basket for them. So in a half-court offensive set, they struggle with that, and that's not going to change. Pascal Siakam is a great player, but he's still a year or 2 from knowing how to score the ball effectively.
They have no one-on-one players on that team.
That's what I'm saying. They have nobody that can.
If they're not hitting the 3, then
they're our team. The Raptors are our team. And if the team is playing well, then they're a very tough team to beat. But if they're not playing well, they don't have that one player that can will them a game. And sometimes you have players that can will you a game. You might not win the series, but they win you a game. I.e., Allen Iverson against the Lakers in 2000. Was able to will a game. Right? Just if you have a player that can will a game, if the Raptors had a player that can will a game, then they'd probably be able to win this series. Because then we're talking about a whole different type of series. We're talking about a potential 7-game series where that one player could actually win that game. And they don't have that. And they're not gonna, and it's like I said, it's not gonna come in the next couple of days either. I think Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba Walker are playing confident basketball together. They love playing together. I see that Kemba Walker knows that Jason Tatum may be the best offensive player. At the same time, Tatum knows when to let Kemba cook, and Kemba knows when to let Brown cook. They don't cross each other, right? That's why you would say a game, and you would say why Kemba, not in the loss in particular, but in situations where Kemba probably have 10, 12 shots put up, right? And any other team that Kemba Walker's playing for, he's putting up 20-plus shots. And on this team, they can win with him putting up 12 shots because they have so many different players that come in and fill the role up. So when Kemba's not shooting the ball well, Marcus Smart happen to have a good game. What makes Boston dangerous, not just for the Toronto Raptors, but what makes them dangerous to win a championship is that they have both sides of the ball filled up. They can defend and they can score. Now, we get caught up in the names of the other teams, the Kawhi Leonards, the LeBron James, and these teams. But Boston can beat those teams too. Boston can beat the Clippers and they can beat the Lakers too. And I don't think that, and I think that myself, I felt Toronto could have won because I felt Toronto was a better team, but they don't have the better players. And the postseason is about the players. This is why the money get made in the postseason for some players. This is where you get where you got at. We don't care what you're doing throughout the season. What you're gonna do in the postseason is how you get your name created. It's how you get what
your legacy.
The covers of NBA 2K and everything else that comes from this. I just don't see the Raptors having anything to answer for the Boston Celtics. I think the series is going to be over in 6 because I do know that the Boston Celtics.
It gotta be.
You know
if
that
it's not over in 6, then I'm telling you,
anything can happen in the game 7.
Anything, and it's not even anything can happen, bro. It's just the young players might just freeze up. I mean, it's just I don't know, man. I'm not trying to get no game 7 with Nick Nurse. He has the advantage because in a situation where he can kind of just throw something at you that you might have never seen, and it might take a game or two to figure out, like you were saying.
Yeah, it takes a game or two to. Well, outside the lucky shot that OG hit, I won't even say lucky. It was a good play.
It was a great play.
Damn good play.
Great play.
Like I said, and even in the last few minutes of that, the last quarter of that game, they started throwing the double team, the attack double team to Jason Tatum, like I was saying, and then that worked, like I said, a game and a half. Now, Nick Nurse can come up with something if they do push it to 7, where he might be able to throw Tatum and Brown them off, and that is a dangerous situation because you don't want to give a coach, either one of these coaches, whoever has the upper hand right now, which would be Brad Stevens, he doesn't want to give Nick Nurse any type of momentum or any kind of extra game to find out what he can do to mess up, disrupt his offense and make the Boston Celtics end up losing a series that they should have been had over by this time.
Facts.
Going off into another series that may seem very longer than what we anticipated, which is the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Clippers. I thought that was going to be a 4 or 5 game series. I thought the Clippers were going to, get past the Mavericks and say, okay, you know what, we're done with the prima donna attitude. We're going to come and play basketball. We're going to come and be, better than what we were before. We're going to show you what we are, And the Nuggets are exposing things, even though the Clippers won, the Nuggets are exposing things about the Clippers like every other team has been exposing. If you have some size, you can really beat them.
Size and shooters, you can beat them.
You can really beat them.
Mm-hmm.
You can really beat them. If you take advantage of your size in the right place, in the right times, they are really, really standing and stuck. I like Montrezl Harrell, and he's a good player, but he's not that good of a defender as I thought he was in the paint. He's against against players that we know that are going to put up 20, 30 points a game, I think he's going to struggle with them. And that's a problem because him and Zubac is pretty much their defensive anchors in the back in the back court, in the front court. So what do we see from the Clippers? What do you see from the Clippers out of the Denver? Is it more like this? Should we give the Denver Nuggets more credit, Mike Malone more credit, or are the Clippers just lazy basketball right now? They just don't have that fire in them that we think they do.
It's a little bit of both, but I'm gonna start by definitely you gotta give the Clippers the benefit of the doubt in the sense that they haven't played together. I mean, it's showing. The laziness, you can't. That's inexcusable. You know, getting the ball out of, after May and they pushing it down with a 4 layup. I've seen that happen 4 times in the past 2 games. That's inexcusable. But the rotation players, I mean, Harrell's grandmother dying and Lou Williams, you know, getting caught up in his situation, and
he lost a family member too.
It's so much going on with them, bro. They haven't played at all.
Yeah.
So they're still lining each other offensively, but defensively, I'm still expecting them to be a little bit better. But the Denver Nuggets, you got to give them credit, bro. They're a great team.
They are.
I mean, people are just looking at it. I mean, they literally almost beat the Lakers with their bench.
Right.
I mean, we saw them play a quarter and a half with the bench, and they almost beat them. Mm-hmm. So it's just they're just young. They lost their game last night off of inexperience. They should have won. They should have won that game last night. The Clippers are still the better team, but it's just the Clippers don't have a point. They don't really have a point guard.
Right.
So when you don't have a point guard to push pressure on defenses, it kind of amazes me how well they play offensively when they don't even have a great point guard to put pressure on the defense. So you play honestly the 2 best offensive teams in the playoffs, which are the Dallas Mavericks and the Denver Nuggets. They're the 2 best offensive teams you're gonna see. You play the Lakers next round. Yeah, they got an inside-outside, but they ain't really hitting like the Clippers. They're not really gonna be hitting like the Nuggets and the Mavericks hitting.
Well, the attack is going to be different. The attack is
going to be different.
The attack could be different. When you, like I was saying, you playing the Clippers as a Lakers team, you're not finna try to get into a shootout. That's not the game you're finna try to get into. We really finna become a half-court team, and your best half-court players versus my best half-court players. Let's see who's gonna win.
It's just you got it. Go ahead.
It can't be a shootout. The Lakers can't get into, not even meant to look past Houston because they still got to get past Houston and vice versa. But the Lakers can't get into a shootout with no team. They're not a team that can get into a shootout and come out with a win against these other teams that shoot the 3 way better than them. They could
possibly get in a shootout with the Rockets a game and beat them.
But they gotta run. They beat the Rockets last game because they ran. They run. You have to run.
That stops.
They got
turnover.
And you're not taking the ball out of the basket every time you're running. You're able to get your big man the ball sooner. You're able to get to your offense sooner, and you're not sitting here waiting with 9, 8, 7 seconds left for LeBron to try to host up a 30-foot, 35-foot 3-point shot. Like,
one thing I want to say about the Clippers is that Luka Doncic prepared them so much for what they're going to see in the foreseeable future, because what they done to Jamal Murray is just incredible. I mean, when we saw him score damn near 53 games in a row, and this man has been held under 22 games, 2 out of 3 games, and the Clippers have been able to bottle him in.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 times this year, Jamal Murray scored under 20 points.
Yeah.
Against the Clippers.
Yeah.
Some games he's been in the single digits. They know how to guard him well, and Jamal Murray is not an easy player to guard.
No, they got bodies for him though.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, the bodies they got for Jamal Murray ain't the same bodies they're gonna have for LeBron James though.
Facts.
Shit. Bodies they got for Jamal Murray is Pat B can guard Jamal Murray, right? He can do enough to the point where he can disrupt Jamal Murray enough to make this a long series for him. And I like Jamal Murray. And I've been saying that he's an all-star for the past couple of seasons.
He's a great player.
He's still a small guard, and considering the NBA, he's 6'3", 6'4". That's
not. He's about 6'5", bro.
Maybe Donovan Mitchell made him look like he was about 6'3" because they both played big.
Jamal Murray definitely 6'5".
Let's say that, right? He's not an athletic 6'5". He's not a freak athlete, 6'5".
I mean, I can't agree with that. He's not a freak, but
right,
he's athletic.
Right. On NBA level athlete, where we say elite athleticism, he's not that. He's a scorer.
He's very quick though. I mean, he's not.
He can score the basketball. He's a scorer. So, but with a scorer, he still has limitations. Meaning that you could throw these. He's not 6'8", 270 pounds. You could throw bodies at him, which can throw him off. The same bodies for the Clippers they got for LeBron, that's not the same game plan.
And you're right, but in certain situations, bro, I would rather face LeBron than Jamal Murray, depending on you already know what you're gonna get out of LeBron. You don't know what you're gonna get for you gonna know what you don't.
LeBron than Jamal.
No. See, you trying to flip it. Don't do that. That's not what I'm saying. You gotta be fair.
I want to see what you got to say.
You already. It depends on the situation, on who's on a certain team. If the club, of course, if the Nuggets ain't had no shooters, I wouldn't fear Jamal Murray. They don't have no shooters. But bro, when Jamal Murray get hot, bro, we've seen him literally in the playoffs can shoot you out of the game. I'm not worried about LeBron shooting me out of the game. If LeBron hits 10 threes, okay, we have to live with that. Jamal Murray, if he hit 3-4 in a row, bro, it's a whole different dynamic. So it depends on the team structure. With the Lakers team structure that they got going on right now, I don't necessarily in some situations fear LeBron James because of the players around him as much as I might fear Jamal Murray.
Okay, so that's the difference then. So the
difference.
Personnel. So because I feel like if LeBron James was in a Nuggets uniform, it'd be the whatever Jamal Murray doing, he could do that times 10.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So
I mean,
if you're playing the Lakers, you okay with
the Lakers?
You okay with LeBron shooting a jump shot? Playing the Lakers, you okay with LeBron beating you by the jump? I agree with that. If that happens, you can live with that. Whether they're playing the Nuggets, that can get the whole team going.
But that's what I'm saying, exactly.
But the Clippers, the thing is when the Clippers team is a different team for every opponent they play in the postseason, and this team problems will translate to the next series.
Thanks.
These are not problems that they can fix. There's adjustments you can fix that can make you better than what you currently are. You can say, okay, they just do this, do that, and they're better. The Clippers' adjustments in the next series it's still going to be the same problem. Now, the Lakers don't have the personality to hit the three-point shot, which makes
we can't talk about the Lakers. They still got to win that series.
Exactly. I'm just speaking in terms of the Clippers' problems with guarding bigs is not going to go anywhere.
It's not going to go anywhere.
It's not going to go anywhere.
Nah, it's a problem.
And that's a big problem.
It's a big problem.
And that was the reason why I had the Lakers where I had them before the team's broken up, because I felt that is the problem. And I don't think that you can fix that overnight. I think I said this once and I said it before, the teams that the Lakers were going to worry about come playoff time, when they had their full team, was going to be teams that had legit big men that will make Anthony Davis work on both ends of the court. And so far right now, if they are able to get past the Rockets, I don't really see no team that has a big man that's going to make. I think Anthony Davis is smooth sailing from now on.
Yeah,
once he get past this Rockets team, which you would think is crazy because they don't have a big man, but the way they play, it makes it tough for him to be on the court. So if he can get past this Rockets team, I don't think they have I'm not saying they're going to win, but I don't think he's going to have an issue against any other team in the NBA.
He's not. I mean, maybe if Toronto somehow goes.
Yeah, maybe. That's
maybe Boston plays pretty good. I mean, they're
gonna have to go Taco Fall, and he's gonna have to.
Taco Fall's not ready for Anthony.
He's not even ready. He's not even ready to step on that court. Not in the playoffs. He ain't even
stepped on the court. They got drained. So
yeah, facts.
So it's facts though. I mean, if the Lakers had more shooters, I would be more worried. I mean, it's just I don't know, man. The lack of shooting.
They
can still get to the finals without the lack of shooting because they got LeBron and AD.
They
got the two best combo in the league by far. Yeah. I mean, it's by far. We know that.
The best duo in the league by far.
But it's just it's a different type of defense people can play on them. The Clippers can play on them that they didn't have to play on. I mean, they had to play on Dallas. You can't double nobody on Dallas. If you bro, Cleveland gonna hit the three, Hardaway gonna hit the three, Curry gonna hit the three, Trey Burke gonna hit the three. They had so much, but then you come in, you're like, oh yeah, Rondo, Kuzma, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, we live with that. We can double team Anthony Davis about a matchup. So I don't know. They got to both get there first because the Nuggets still should have won last night. The Nuggets should be up 2-1.
The Nuggets there. The Rockets there. Like I said, both teams got to do something. I think that if the Rockets were able to get back, it's just hard for me to just give the Rockets the momentum I want to give them. And
it's hard because of D'Antoni.
I just have to see. I do not like to play devil's advocate and make it seem like I'm just putting the Lakers in a position that they don't deserve yet. I just don't trust the Rockets enough for me to. The reason why I'm foreseeing Lakers to win the series, I just don't trust the Rockets enough. They not, and that just no disrespect to OKC. But if I take series. I look at you as if I look at your team, I look at the other team, and I say you should win this series in this amount of games. That shows you where you at in championship level pedigree. If the Rockets were able to beat the Thunder in 5 games and 6 without Russell Westbrook playing the first few games, it shows something to me, man.
There have been teams that made the finals of going 7. I mean, I think Boston did against Chicago.
Yeah, Boston did it against Boston. Did their whole first year. They went 7 with their Hawks.
I'm talking about in the first round and stuff. So
they went 7 with the Hawks.
I think have done it. Well, I think the Spurs and Mavericks went 7 one year. It happens sometimes. I mean, it's just matchups.
Yeah,
it's matchup, and I agree with you. The Rockets need to take care of business. They got to take care of it. They should have taken care of more business.
I think their game plan is just simple. If our shots falling, we good, and if our shots not falling, we keep shooting. I just don't see necessary adjustments on it. I know the Rockets team I'm getting. I know what they finna do. We know what they finna do. We know what their game plan is. We know what they want to get done. There's no different adjustment to what they want to do, and. Right. And so, therefore, teams like OKC and Billy Donovan and Chris Paul were able to make the necessary adjustments to win the games because they don't change nothing up.
Facts.
Either we're making our threes or we're not making our threes. And if we're not making them, we're going to just keep shooting them until the next game.
But the Rockets have done a better job of getting twos this series.
I mean, because they planned the Lakers who are adjusting to how they got to play the Rockets. The Lakers are adjusting to how they have to play the Rockets. You either finna give up these twos or you're giving up these threes. Which one are we going to do? So depending on how the Rockets are shooting the three, that's how Lakers going to play them. They're making the threes, then we're going to move to the twos. If the threes are not falling, then guess what? We're going to stay back and we're going to be here until they start making them. It's simple to guard. It's not simple to guard James Harden. It's not. But it's simple to guard the Rockets because you're doing nothing but looking for dribble penetration, dish out from Westbrook and Harden the whole game. That's all we're doing. Dribble past him, dish out 3. It's not even who even outside of Westbrook and James Harden, man. Who really scores layups? I don't never see no backdoor cuts from who. When last
Eric Gordon gets layups.
Who?
Eric Gordon gets layups.
Eric Gordon is a bucket.
He's a bucket. He gets layups though.
Who do you see backcourt? But he's still shooting 12 threes a game, bro. Who do you see? When do you see backdoor cuts or backdoor? I don't see no plays, man. I just see we running and we shooting, I don't think that's enough to beat any team. So until they win a series, not even get close to winning a series, but until the Houston Rockets actually win a series, they don't deserve to get the credit until they win a series.
And I agree with you.
I can't give them their credit.
I honestly think people really don't put things into perspective about how the Rockets literally played Steph, Clay, KD, Draymond, and they took them to 7.
Who?
The Rockets.
No, KD didn't play. KD didn't play for 2 games.
No, you're not listening. I'm saying that he didn't. But I'm saying they still. But what's it called? Yeah, he didn't. But they were up 3-2.
They had Chris Paul too.
Yeah, but we know that. But I think for this team, Russell Westbrook is the better. We talked about is the better option for this particular
Yeah,
team.
we talked about it. I didn't agree with it, but we talked about it.
Yeah, because the Rockets would get killed because they can't rebound. I mean, you need that rebound. I mean, that's where Russell Westbrook is better. He's gonna be better with the rebounds and pushing in transition.
Sure.
I mean, that's why I think they're better. Not necessarily on the offensive end.
Well, they would have been better if they would have kept Clint Capella and Chris Paul.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're a championship team right now. They would have kept that same.
Absolutely, and I agree with that. But I'm just saying, we've seen the Rockets go 7 games. And we did see the Rockets go 7 games with KD before.
Sure.
They lost in Game 7. So if they can do that with that, why can't they do that with the Lakers team now?
Because they're not. This team is not being judged by how many games they take a team. This team is being judged about championships now. We're judging Westbrook and Harden on the championship scale now. Then they can go 7 games with anybody, bro. They can go. They can almost beat anybody. Like we discussed that every team that's in this playoffs can potentially win a championship. Every team that's playing right now has that opportunity to do that because these teams are inconsistent. But when it comes to the Rockets, I think sometimes, and even with you sometimes with them, because I think you kind of give them a little bit of not even just Mike D'Antoni, because you're hard on Mike D'Antoni, and you kind of hard on James Harden sometimes too. Sometimes, but I think you give them the benefit of the doubt of that if they were to take the Lakers to 7, they did good, or they did. Now they got to win the ship. The Rockets got to win a championship. They got 2 MVPs. They have 2 of the top 15, 20 players on their team right now. They're supposed to be quote unquote reinventing basketball with the small ball lineup. They have the highest total 3 points made this season and in the bubble and in the playoffs. We need and this not they took a kick like we were
best defensive rating.
The best defensive rating.
When I said they can play defense, everybody laughed at me.
I mean, because the defense that's being played is being played into how they playing. So a lot of teams what's considered good defense is because they're jacking up shots to play with the Rockets, and that plays against the defensive rating. But until the Rockets do what all these good things they're doing, until they win, bro.
Until they win.
Some players are just at that scale where they have to win before we give them this. And before James Harden, Westbrook, 3 years ago, taking Lakers to 7 games, going to the Western Conference Finals would have been good enough. This is not. The Rockets are a championship level team, so they don't win. They don't win championship.
How many games does the series go?
This series goes 7 games. It goes 7 games.
And you don't trust James Harden in Game 7, do you? And Mike D'Antoni. I ain't trying to put you on the spot.
I whether.
What if this is the year
Mike, there's so many players. Unfortunately, I would take over James Harden in the Game 7 that I nowhere near better than him.
Yeah, facts. But what if this is the year they get over the hump, though?
That's what we're going to see. If this is that year.
They get to the Western Conference Finals, not get over the hump, though.
No, it can't be that. It can't be beat the Lakers, then lose to the Clippers. It can't be that.
It can't be that. What about they get to the finals and lose?
Finals is the only way they can lose. I'm taking a loss. They go to the finals, they lose to Boston or whoever else happened to be there, Miami, whoever else there. I could take that from the Rockets. I would consider that not a championship, but I consider that, okay, James Harden, you ain't got to hear about me saying nothing that's bad about you not being in the clutch anymore. Okay, Russell Westbrook, you ain't got to hear about nobody saying you turnover pawn, you turnover king, you can't shoot, Westbrook, all that shit. Okay, y'all have earned Mike D'Antoni. You have earned our respect that you have got your players there to the finals. Now let's see what y'all do going forward from now on. They will get that respect from that, but I can't respect them in no semis and in no conference. I can't respect these boys until they win, until they do something. That's why I say the Clippers gonna be there or Lakers gonna be there. Because LeBron never proved that to me already. They showed me what they can get to the next level already. James Harden is the best offensive player in the NBA right now, but there's 10 players I would take over him in a Game 7 situation, and that is a sad situation to be in when he's arguably unguardable right now.
Right.
He's really unguardable. There's really no way to stop James Harden, only if he's missing his own shots, only if he's not making his shots. So with that being said, bro, I can't even comment on the Rockets or even give them until they win. I don't even want to talk about the Lakers series.
I respect it.
Until they really win, bro. I just can't do it. So that's pretty much it, man. That's all. That's all I got to say, man. That's pretty much our show for today. We're going to keep it short and simple. You guys just continue to comment, like, subscribe, and follow. We appreciate every last one of y'all. You're helping us grow, helping us get better. Y'all keep pressure on us. We just want to continue to give y'all hard work and devote ourselves to doing what we do best, man. It's your boy Ron. It's your boy Ross here. Peace.
Peace.
See y'all.